Hello everybody, this is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. Well, last time you remember, we finally finished exploring the Dimwood, or at least making our first pass through it, because we are going to return to it again a couple of times in the chapters to come, but we're one step closer to my arbitrary goal of trying to get to Highcastle, and the very nice weapon shop that Isaac told us was there. Because having come through the Dimwood, we have given ourselves quite a bit of nice gear and quite a bit of other things worth selling that hopefully we can unload here. And also set ourselves west of a rather nasty ambush that we couldn't get past just going due east from Tirsog. So our goal this time is just trying to get to Highcastle and maybe checking out some of the area there, because I've never come this way before. I'm not sure exactly what we might find on the road, but I imagine that this being an optional area, there won't be much in the way of resistance, because we're doing something that the programmers did not expect. So we got two bodies with spoiled rations and a shell, and spoiled rations. So nothing useful apart from the shell, but we've got far better loot on our side. Now this road is something of a straight shot. I can't help but wonder. Yep. My memory did not play false. We do in fact have some treasure chests here. Another free Dark Elf word lock puzzles. 6 legs, 2 heads, 2 hands, and 1 long nose. Yet he only uses 4 legs wherever he goes. Well, that would be a man on a horse, so let's see. Horseman? Hardly didn't change any letters at all, really. Okay, but we are... yeah, we are fast approaching 1,000 gold. What is the thing with fingers long that grips our deadly sword so strong? Well, you hold the sword in your hand, and what has fingers that you'd wear on your hand? Yeah, well, gauntlet. And another goblin sticker, which is not a bad sword, all things considered, but we got blessed weapons here. But I may come back and pick all this up later off camera just to build up an obscene level of gold. And, you know, we did this one already. Okay, here we go. Kingdom soldiers will look like it when the headsman serves them a lop. For then, like it, they'll have a neck, but not a head on top. Well, bit of a clever pun here, but they mentioned heads. Bottles. No head on the beer. And another Fadimore's formula. And another scroll for Owen. In this case, it's a spell called Steelfire, which Steelfire has the same effect as one of the magic items that let you put magical fire on your weapons. Alright, so back on the road. And nothing in the pile of rocks. And I want to remember there's a rather massive crossroads here. And it looks like there's... ah, trolls. Multiple groups of them, possibly. Locklear heard a sound. Knowing they were about to be attacked, he planted his feet firmly. Now, the thing with trolls is that they are rather strong. But I seem to recall that they take more damage from fire than anything. But we'll go ahead and paralyze one of them. Of course, the funny thing is that if a party of spellcasters can paralyze you completely, it's game over. You do not get the same courtesy. And here's an idea. Bad idea. Still, far enough away I can try and do this, see if the fire does extra damage to it. And not so you'd notice. Better let Locklear start healing a bit. Well, first time I'm actually going to use this spell. And keep freezing them. And better make sure that one stays frozen. Because Goraf is not doing much better. Let's go ahead and let everybody heal up a bit, because that guy's going to be frozen for a little longer. Let's see how they like poison. Definitely earned some rust there. And that seems to have done the group on the right end, but let's see, what's this? A shop? Scavenger's Meat. The shop was littered with cast-offs, forgotten trinkets, and lost items which few would want or need to reclaim. This seems vaguely familiar somehow. So, of course, these guys are probably not going to take elf armor. Yeah, no use for that. No use for the fancy sword. Broadsword? Not so much. They will take gems, though. Don't like that. They will take a poison antidote, though. 90 gold. Actually, we'll let Lockie have that. Clear our inventory up somewhat. Worth a shot. Oh, they will take the Dragon Stone, though. And he won't take that, but we can stock up on rations for everybody. And get it used. Pass that on to Gorath, and, well, we've gotten part of our inventory cleared out. And, yeah, nice little feature of the Northlands is you can find bushes that you can use to make rations or restoratives. And it looks like there's a house and a barn here. Nobody's here, though. And I know that's because there is a quest here, but it doesn't unlock until Chapter 2. Locklear's knock was answered by an old man whose wrinkled appearance stood in sharp contrast to the military straightness of which he carried his body. He introduced himself as Arlon, former swordmaster of Highcastle, and went on to regale them with stories of his victories and conquests through the years. They listened with great interest, especially when we talked about some of the more recent border skirmishes he'd been made aware of. Finally, exhausted by his storytelling, the old man excused himself to take a nap. Now, I don't think that improved our stats at all, but check this out. We've got Locklear's melee is now at 75%, crossbows at 59, defense 63, weaponcraft and stealth have all gone up. Owen's casting accuracy up at 73, his melee and defense are at 50, 51. Stealth has also gone up a bit. Gorath's stealth is at 70, armorcraft and weaponcraft are through the roof. And melee defense, not too shabby. And here's Graveyard. Soon the gods will know his name. Died in her favorite red dress. Made his parents proud. Had 12 kids, the 13th killed her. Her husband never came home. Oh, let's try again. His company was killed in the Northlands. Nothing here striking me as being particularly... Her head was in the clouds. And nothing there. Okay, well... Okay, so we've got a chest here. And we have learned our lesson about these chests, haven't we? And this time we actually could pick it. I think this is actually the path leading eastward to... Locklear fretted. Miles away from the objective he knew they should be pursuing, he managed to soothe his nagging concerns by noting the fact that there had been far fewer assassins in their way since they had taken the diversionary route away from Krondor. Inevitably, they would of course head for the prince, but in his gut he knew none of the assassins would have suspected them of heading into the hills south of Highcastle. We've probably come far enough east to have thrown any of the assassins off the track. You have a better idea of what Delicon would throw at us, Gorath. What do you think? I think that if I were he, I would hunt us in the same way that one hounds a fox. You chase him and snap at his heels, all while driving him out of fear into his hole. And in this instance, the hole is Krondor. If he doesn't already suspect our destination, he can't stay unaware of it for too long. But he couldn't lay a trap for us in Krondor itself. Even a large contingent of elves there is enough to stir up a ruckus. I suspect a trap immediately to the north of our objective. That would be most prudent. I think I'd have to agree. Slipping in at night from the southeast would probably be the best way in. I'll at least keep it in mind as we travel. And yes, that is the most roundabout way to try and get to Krondor, which would be this route where we go all the way east here. In fact, we're halfway to Wolfram now, but taking this pathway, going all the way through the eastern part of the kingdom and following it around until we can circle through Darkmoor into Krondor. And yes, we actually will run into less combat this way, which is why we eventually will take that route, but we're also going to explore this whole region as well, because there's a lot of quests and a lot of gear and a lot of fun to be had there. But I think before we go any further west, we will actually head toward Highcastle and the fine weapon shop that we were told was there. And I just ran into another troll ambush. Thankfully, they do seem to be leaving Owen alone. Another one there. Keep an eye on those to make sure they don't get unparalyzed too quickly. And, oh, that one came undone, but quick little cast. And we'll let everybody take a swing at this one. And only Locklear's defense went up that time, oddly enough. Of course, despite carrying staves, the trolls don't seem having... So let's see, northwest to Highcastle, southeast to Dimwood, northeast to Northwarden. Well, we definitely want to head northwest. And sure enough, here's the path to Highcastle. The road ramped up the mountain. Pausing to catch his breath, Locklear motioned up the road. Highcastle, think we should pay a little visit? Yeah, but first I'm going to actually turn the music on. Because we haven't gotten to hear any of the town music, and I don't recall offhand what Highcastle's town music sounds like. And that leads to Cutter's Gap, which is one of the more infamous battle locations. Jazzier rendition of the standard Betrayal of Krondor theme here. A grim reminder of the conflict between the Kingdom of the Isles and the nations of the North. Highcastle drew its name from the heavy stone fortifications built on a tar, which guarded the frontier town. To the distant north loomed Cutter's Gap, one of the few gaps in the wall of mountains known as the Teeth of the World. And we can't go and explore it, but it does take rations to do so. Rain slanted out of the sky. Squiffing through the muddy pass, Locklear stared miserably at the broken remnants of a bridge, which at once spanned Highland's Gorge. Blinking rain out of his eyes, looked at Owen. The bridge has been sabotaged, he spat. 3 days on the back to Highcastle, unless you have any other ideas. Owen scowled and shook his head. I don't know what I think would be gained by turning back into the Northlands. I think it just as well the way is blocked. I have my reasons, Locklear shouted back, angry at the trip and waste of time. Let's head back to Highcastle. Yes, let's not go to Camelot. 'Tis a silly place. And yes, as we can see, the music has died down here, which further research told me that what happened is that the CD-ROM version of the game did not have the music cycle as it did in the original 3.5 disc release. But we have 3 locations. We have a shop, we have a tavern, and we have the keep. A soldier let them in. Following the swirling tail of the man's white tabard, they were escorted into a well-appointed study with large windows overlooking the marshalling yard of the castle. Seated in the casement just below, a large man was watching the activities below with an absorbed fascination, occasionally scribbling down notes on a piece of parchment on either side. Baron Kevin, these men asked to be shown in, the soldier said. Shall I leave you? The red-haired man nodded, motioning for them to take seats a little more conventional than the one he was currently occupying. What can I do for you, gentlemen? I'm afraid that Baron Traveler isn't here. Baron Traveler being a character from The Darkness of Sephinon, who, as reward for service, was appointed commander of the garrison at Highcastle. That's quite all right. We were looking for insights about a possible attack on Highcastle, Locklear started. Have you seen anything unusual recently? Have I? Kevin said with a laugh, his blue eyes twinkling. I see unusual things every day. You don't work in a frontier fort and lead a boring life, you know. After laying several amusing stories, the Baron mentioned that an important bridge had been collapsed to the north of Cutter's Gap, possibly stranding several goblins on the kingdom side of Highcastle Gorge. They are likely to begin attacking traveling merchants for food. If you're heading in that direction, I advise watching my step, if I were you. If you happen to stumble across any of the goblins, I'd appreciate if you brought us back some evidence they were around. We might be passing that way, Locklear said with a shrug. We don't exactly have an itinerary. If we don't know where we're going, then the people who are trying to silence Goraf here won't know either. I understand, the Barrett said, favoring Garf with a doubtful look. Be careful in your journeys. So we'll go to the tavern as well. The Ranger's Hall. Despite the fact that the light was dim and pooled only in shallow corners, the mood within seemed cheerful as the tavern keeper animatedly relayed tales of mischief, reaping gales of laughter from people who had most likely heard the story dozens of times before. But and here's the This Kingdom Mine tomb. I've paid. And 55 gold. And that starts the music over again. Locklear cleared his throat. Glancing up from the business of cleaning his fingernails with a boot knife, the man regarded them frostily, motioning with the tip of his knife for them to make their business known. That's a very nice knife. Keshian, isn't it? Locklear commented carefully. When did you have a chance to purchase it? The man smiled, showing uneven brown teeth. Who said I bought it? Ah, Goraf said, taking a hold of Owen's shirt sleeve. Well, I think my companion promised me a drink before we came in. I think at nigh time I collected on it. Good day to you. Perhaps we can speak again. And we got a barmaid. We got an inn. Same thing with him. And I don't know how you can hear me over this music. It sounds rather loud to me, so we won't bother with that. We don't need to talk to the barmaid. We'll go ahead and 5 gold for the night, not bad. And here's one of the unfortunate side effects of using an inn. You can wind up having your gold stolen. You can have somebody get you sick. Locklear smiled, still feeling lightheaded from his well-earned sleep. He waited patiently as the Night Master stirred from his office behind the counter. "You seem to be in a good mood," the man said, picking up the guest registry. Locklear replied only by nodding non-committally, knowing the innkeeper might increase his rates if he seemed too pleased with the service. "Seeing as how you sleep so well, how about another night? And just to show you generous, I'm going to keep the same rate, 5 sovereigns a night." Goraf yawned. "Sleep well?" the Night Master asked. "Not exactly," Owen replied, rubbing his eyes. "The fellow that's sharing our bed tossed all night, kept burying his elbows in our guts. And his fingers in our money pouches," Goraf growled, examining their finances. "He stole a handful of golden sovereigns." The Night Master smiled nervously. "You understand that nothing the establishment can't be held responsible. I can save for another night, though." And that got Goraf all the way healed up. So let us check out this shop, the Battleworks, which does have a repair section as well. Everywhere Locklear looked, the same description for most of the battleships. So let's see, we've got a Goblin sticker, Great Sword, Keshian Taper, the Heavy Crossbow, Two-Handed Broadsword, Regular Old Rapier, Elven Crossbow for 906 gold, Dragon Plate Armor, Evilico Armor, which is 596, let's see. Commissioned by Earl Kasumi for his Lametian soldiers, the design was a surrounding improvement over Kingdom armor. Where rigid steel plates had been traditionally riveted, the armor crafter Ulikio had used instead flexible links of horn, which would allow the armor to fold without being punctured. And we got the Grey Tower plate, which is, very expensive. And we also have a book, Chapel's weapon. Even if a cursory glance, you could tell the book was rife with spelling errors. Much of the vexation of a previous reader. Large sections of a document had been struck through and rewritten in a more elegant hand in the margins of the book. I believe that book increases your weapon skill. So 20 gold for that. 29 for the blessing. Only 11 for that. Only 98. Oh, he will take that, and... yeah, let's see what Goraf can make of that. Quite a bit better. Well, hey, we're sitting pretty at 1,300, and what the heck? Although it would be cheaper to buy this in Lamut, so I think that is what we will do. After all, we can easily go back and pick up a lot more discarded armor if we want to go back through the Dimwood and drive everything northward, which won't take me long, relatively speaking, but it'd be utterly boring for you to watch. But, hey, mission accomplished. We got to Highcastle. And I think next time we will do that mission for Baron Kevin and try and see if we can find this goblin patrol he's speaking of. But yeah, not bad. So, yes, next time we will continue exploring the area around Highcastle and then probably cut west to Eld Point and clear the path to the Temple of Dala, which is over in this area. Or maybe head east to the Temple of Tiff, which is also around here. Not surprisingly, the Dala and Tiff are the two gods of war, Dala being more the Athena figure in the Midkemian pantheon. She is the patron of strategy and defenders. Tiff is the more Ares type figure, the patron of offense. But both of them give you the best possible blessing on your weapons. And probably I'll try and, well, maybe I'll save money to see how much it costs to get that done. But either way, we shall explore those avenues and the whole area around Highcastle next time. We'll see you then.